Kate, Mary! You binge watch your average Netflix show and you just want to talk to someone about it. We need to talk to someone about Bluey. Hello, this is Gotta Be Done. You're with Mary and Kate in the wagon, and everyone would know by now that we are pretty excited for new episodes. But Kate, I think this might be as or even more exciting than new episodes. We've got a special guest with us.
I know, and it's a special guest who I think our listeners will be extremely excited about. We've got the lovely Melanie Zanetti with us today, otherwise known as Chilli Healer. Hello.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, so good. Welcome.
This is probably the most exciting thing to happen for quite some time. We've been in lockdown, so, you know, that's a low bar, but yes, I think you've raised it well and truly past the roof.
Fabulous. So good to hear.
Mel, the world's a bit heavy at the moment, so before we start, we're just wanting a little welfare check. How are you going and what are you doing to cope with COVID?
Overall, I would say, you know, in the grand scheme of where everyone's at in the world, I'm doing fine. For me, COVID came on the back of some really intense periods of work. So I was pretty ready for a nap anyway, like a long one. So the timing wasn't so bad at the beginning. And I'm in Queensland, so we've been so fortunate up here, not having to go into the hardcore lockdowns that, say, Melbourne have. I'm just in awe of how everyone's dealt with that. That's been amazing. So I feel really quite fortunate. Like all my work for the year, well, not all of it, but a lot of it, because I was supposed to be in Europe and the US, has been pushed till next year. But other things have come from this time, so all considered, I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Oh, it's been interesting. I think we're very, very glad to have some new episodes of Bluey. I
think a lot of parents are probably looking forward to that. My brother and his partner and my niece, they're like, we're so ready, Mel. We are so ready for new ones.
You must be like Auntie of the Year, really, being like one of the most formidable characters on Australian
She's
children's
a little
television.
bit young yet. She's about 18 months, so she hasn't quite. They're like, we're so excited when she's actually going to click, but I think that's a little bit a while off. And there's a sort of like cognitive dissonance that happens with kids, where it's like, no, you're not a cartoon dog. You're just a person. So I get that. So there's some anonymity that comes with the smaller humans, which is lovely.
Chilli, I'm wearing thongs.
Oh, great.
Well, lovely to know you've got that discovery on the horizon, Mel, and lovely to know you're back in Australia as well. Let's go right back to the start. I'm sure it's no surprise to you that we adore Chilli. She is our queen. How did the role come up for you?
It was really a very strange sort of course of events. I was doing a voiceover using Dan Brum, who plays Stripe and does sound for Bluey. I was using his studio to put a voiceover down for something very banal. It was like Maroubra State Council's online video, something really exciting like that. And I was using his studio, and he's like, you've got a great voice. My brother's making this cartoon, and the whole thing's already cast, but there might be characters later. Like, can we just chuck your voice down?
Let's do this, Bingo.
And then I think ABC weren't sold on the voices that they had, and they had to mix stuff up, and they were presenting the pilot at I think it was the Asia Pacific Cartoon Convention, and just beforehand I got a call from Dan. He's like, do you mind if we use your voice? And I was like, yes, that is totally fine. They'd shown me the animatronics, and I fell in love with it straight away, so I was very keen to be part of it. And then after that, ABC really and Ludo did their due diligence, and they auditioned, I think, for like a few months for the role. And then they came back to me and went, no, you're the best. You're right.
Oh, wackadoo. I won't be messing with you.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like, okay, no, they made sure I was right. But it happened, it was really a very serendipitous, bizarre turn of events, really.
Were you inspired by anyone in particular, Mel, when you were voicing Chilli? And I guess I'm interested in what elements of your own life you were drawing on.
Well, I was really inspired by my mom. I'm one of 6 kids. So the whole like juggling life and children thing, my mom's a bit of a pro at, and the sort of warmth and care and smarts and all of that kind of stuff. Like sometimes I'll say lines and I'll go, oh, how would my mum? Oh, yeah, okay, that's it. So a lot of that will come from, I think, from her, but just also thinking about what it would be like to have 2 little puppies and how you want to treat small humans. So I guess a lot of those ideas of making space for everyone and making sure everyone's heard and really seen. I think that is written so intrinsically in Chilli as a character. Like Joe is such a beautiful writer, and I think who Joe is and his partner is as parents really come through.
What is that?
This is what a real camera looks like.
Are you ready, Bob?
Woo!
And I think that's kind of like, it's all on the page, but that's where I'm coming from when I'm bringing Chilli to life.
Wow, your mum must just love hearing that as well. Where did you come in the order of the 6 kids, Mel? Can you relate to any of the Bingo and Bluey dynamic? Or is it more complicated than that in your
the
family?
Bingo.
Okay.
So we have 2 girls. I'm number 2. I'm number 2 of 6. So there's 2 girls, 2 boys, 2 girls.
Wow.
So it was a convenient ordering of the litter. Not that my parents did anything with any order or thought or crazy. Who has 6 kids? But now it's amazing.
Mary's mum.
Oh, no way!
I'm the eldest of 7, so I'm the Bluey to your Bingo. But yes, it's just a recipe for chaos, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's anarchy when you're growing up, but it's so wonderful now having this, litter that you're part of. That's it's really wonderful having all these people who have your back. It's very special.
Oh, brilliant.
Mel, speaking, I guess, about those sorts of things, living in Brisbane, it must be nice being home and having all that family around, but you were actually living in New York when Bluey first arrived on the screen. Was it weird seeing it land in Australia from so far away and having the rest of the world wake up?
I think for the very first season, I was in LA, and then for the second one, I was in New York, and it was so interesting getting all of this feedback from friends going, oh my gosh, we're obsessed with this show. I've had all of these people from like high school come out of the woodwork going, my family loves your show. Lots of people reconnecting who've had children and are just thrilled with it. So that's been lovely.
And being from Brisbane, Mel, were you seeing when you watched the first cuts and as you laid down voice, all the beautiful nods to Brisbane, and was it making you homesick?
A little bit. I love that it's from Brisbane so much. I think there's a real pride in Bluey when people are from Brisbane and Queensland. The idea that something that's, been this global success has come out of Brisbane. And I do love all the little nods that, there's obviously very specific places that they've captured during the episodes, and the jacarandas. Definitely. Even just like if I'm away, I'll watch some Bluey because if I feel a bit homesick.
I have to ask then, what's your favourite episode, Mel? To sort of channel that.
Oh my gosh. It's like saying, who's your favourite child?
Oh, that's easy, but I won't say it on podcast.
You're hilarious. Look, I have a few favourites. So there's like your classics, like Grannies, like no one can get past that in the first season. But also I love Hammerbarn. I love Escape.
Well, we're going to lie in comfy hammocks wearing sunglasses.
Drinking from coconuts with those little umbrellas.
With no kids allowed.
Yeah, no kids allowed.
What?
I love Fancy Restaurant. And then two that I just think are like can't go past is Flat Pack and Sleepy Time. Like Sleepy Time is a masterpiece. I recorded that, so I knew the whole episode, but I watched it and I sobbed.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad we weren't alone in that one because it's so emotional.
I wasn't sure whether I was just premenstrual, so I went on the internet. I was like, oh, no, everyone else is crying too.
Oh, it was amazing. That line that you deliver as chilly as the sun, it still gets me.
I have to go. I'm a big girl now.
Remember, I'll always be here for you, even if you can't see me, because I love you. Yeah, it got me too. I was like, oh, I don't quite remember because I'm not recording in context. I'm recording my lines. And I'm, in the moment, Joe will be like, oh, yeah, so we're getting this feeling and we're summoning this up and that'll happen. But it'll be very isolated. And then I see it with the whole cartoon and everyone else. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Well, talking about that isolation, Mel, because when the last round of episodes dropped, we heard a lot about how you hadn't actually met Dave, your on-screen husband, and everyone just records their voice separately. I know the last few months certainly haven't been very helpful for actually getting to meet people. But is that on the list? Are you hoping to finally
At some
record?
point, that'd be great. I was actually talking to Dave yesterday on the phone. So we do chat. But we still haven't met in person, which I think is wonderful and hilarious that, we've got this, what's becoming quite this iconic couple and we haven't met in real life.
And what about other sort of guest stars, I suppose? Has there been anyone pop up in the cast list who you kind of wish you could have been in the same room to record as?
That's a good question. It would have been fun with Hamish and Zoe, I'm not going to lie. I'm fans. They're both fabulous in their own right, and I love that they've joined for a few cameos in the Bluey team.
Hey, mate, where are your pizza ovens?
All 300 left at the fake grass. If you hit a flamingo, you've gone too far.
But just look, I love all the kids' voices of all the little dogs. I have my sister's obsessed with Rusty.
Oh,
fair.
She's like, he's so cute. I would die for that child, and I haven't met him, but I love him.
You can rent the upstairs room for $10 bucks. Great, but I don't have any dollar bucks.
Maybe you need a job.
Yeah, I could be a waitress for Bluey. Can you mind Polly?
Sure.
Bye.
Do you want to learn how to build a fence, Polly?
Too good.
On that, we know that Dave McCormack sounds exactly like Dave McCormack, and he's constantly getting celebrity spotted as a result. But your voice is a little bit different. Was that a conscious decision, and does it mean that people recognise you? Or
never get recognised ever? I think it wasn't necessarily a super conscious decision. It was more just, I'm a mum dog now, and that was just the sound that came out when I thought of, talking to these two little pups. And I think when I do Chilli, there's something that's probably slightly more like classic Australian sounding than my natural voice. So I lean into that a little bit more. But no, never, ever get recognized. Also, I do a lot of different voice work. I work with an American accent half the time. Last year I did a play that I was French. So I have a bit of a chameleon voice that I can really move it around. I played a robot in a film that's just come out. It's much more malleable, whereas Dave just sounds like Bandit 100% of the time, and I love
the same
that.
person dog. if you haven't read Chilli for a while, do you have a go-to phrase to kind of get back in the voice?
No, she's just kind of, she's there on the page. It's so clear. As soon as you read the dialogue, it's like, oh yeah, this is Chilli. This is the way Chilli speaks.
Fair.
Really clear. But, you know, a wackadoo, I'm sure, will always get you in if you need.
That's a good tip. Thank you.
Mel, with our podcast, we get a lot of fan fiction and a lot of very animated fans getting in touch with us. Have you had any Bluey fans get in touch with their crazy theories about Chilli or just showering you with praise?
Not the theory part. The praise part, yeah, that's super lovely. Hello to everyone who loves Chilli. She loves you back. But not the fan theory one. That's hilarious.
Oh, we get fan fiction about, you know, Bluey going off to, I don't know, do acting school overseas, and it's amazing. Like, yeah, just...
That's wild.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the best Chilli theory. I think there's a bit of shipping going on of Chilli and Lucky's dad. So that's very ripe for the picking.
Romance over the fence.
How do you feel about Lucky's dad?
Funny. Look, he's a champ, but my heart is with Bandit. 100%.
I just got it from Hammer Barn.
Ooh.
We're going to Hammer Barn.
Yeah, Hammer Barn.
Gee, his lawn's looking green.
That's a relief for everyone. Thank you.
Oh, wow. This is a whole new world.
Mel, Chilli and Bandit resonate with so many parents and carers, and they're so often held up as role models. When you were reading the scripts, did you expect that, and why do you think that is?
You know, I've been, had a few interviews with this kind of question that's come up. I think there's a few reasons. I think one of them is you watch it and there is so much equality in this relationship. There is an equal division of household labor, but also emotional labor with the child rearing. And the way that they communicate is with so much love and respect and humor. So I think that's something that people watch and really aspire to and go, this is the kind of relationship I want. Mm-hmm. But I think with a lot of Australian and just parents generally around the world see this and go, oh, this is a really beautiful model. I think the other thing is that they're fallible. Like episodes like The Dump, which is one that I really love, where he owns that he's not perfect. And like in Sticky Gecko, when Mum gets frustrated, or Dance Mode, where she hasn't quite tuned into bingo and what's happening, and she's able to apologise when she didn't realise that bingo didn't really have the autonomy that she needed and she was getting a bit steamrolled. And I think it's those things that when we're able to be vulnerable that way as parents, but just people in general, so much beauty and good and real connection can happen through that. And I think whether it's conscious or not, that's something that people are really resonating with. The complexity of the characters and the realness and the ability to own mistakes, I think, is something that is so beautiful in the show and just so necessary to be modelled.
Does this mean I failed Mum's school?
Well, yeah.
Aww, I'm such a cushion head.
But that's okay.
We all fail Mum's school sometimes.
Oh, okay.
We can just start again tomorrow.
Thanks, Mum.
Yes, something we can all aspire to, hopefully. If we've sort of been forgetting about that.
Mind.
Yeah. It could extend beyond the family dynamic, definitely. I think a lot of Bluey fans have discovered you through this show. They're following you on Instagram, seeing a lot of your creative side, your poetry and art and photography, as well as your acting. What's the future hold for Melanie Zanetti?
Okay, what am I doing at the moment? I have, I mentioned it quickly before, there's a Paramount film called Love and Monsters, and it's just come out in the US and it's going to be out here soon. And I play a couple of roles in that, a human and a robot.
Look, Daddy Robot.
It's a mommy robot.
Hello.
Cheese and crackers.
And it's a really fun film, and it's doing really well. I think it's like 92% on Rotten Tomatoes at the moment, so it's killing it. And I've just booked a part in, I don't know if I can really talk about it yet because I don't think it's up on IMDb, but it's an American series that's filming here that I'll do a couple of episodes on in a few weeks.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, then I've got some films that were supposed to be filmed this year in the US and Italy, some romance films that I'll go back to. And then there's another one at the moment we have conflicting dates, but it's sort of a turn-of-the-century period piece thriller that may or may not I'll be able to do depending on scheduling. So that's sort of what's happening. And then, of course, third season of Bluey.
Congratulations. That was, yes, very much a high point of the last few weeks for us. And yeah, so much to look forward to there.
That's for being cheeky.
Can't argue with that.
Joseph McMullins just decided to join in the wagon, so we'll just continue. It's all happening here. It got to be done. Mel, in the immediate future, we absolutely can't wait for your new episodes to land. Give us some spoilers. What can we look out for in these new episodes, and what are you looking forward to being able to share?
Well, you get to meet Chilli's dad, which is a really, really fun episode, out on his property. And there's a few episodes that really look at what it's like to be a mum with new babies or puppies, that I think is going to be really, how do I say this, helpful, I think, to young mums. And
is this that baby Bluey episode, a baby race?
Yeah, yeah.
It looks good. That little bum shuffle on the toilet.
I think it's going to be great. And there's sort of a nod to the Women's Weekly Cookbook in there.
Did notice that. That's exciting.
Such a fun episode. Like always, there's just so many good episodes on their way. And because I've recorded them in sections, so I do about 4 at a time and pickups from the previous lot. I've recorded these, they were like, I don't know, from the start of the year. So me even remembering what all of them are, it's going to be exciting for me as well as they come out and go, oh, that's what we did. This is great. So I'm excited for the surprises, just like you guys.
Ooh, well, that sounds very promising. Are things like, do you know anything apart from what the script that you're voicing, Mel? For instance, really excited to see Grandad, who there's been a bit of speculation about who might be voicing Grandad. Have you been looped into that?
I have not been looped into that. I have no idea who that is.
Cool.
Who would you like it to
be?
Find out together.
Oh, anyone who has a lovely, warm Grandad voice, I'm in for.
Don't you ever quit!
What are we gonna do? We gonna paddle, Grandad.
I can't! My thumbs!
It's been so amazing to hear about what you've been up to, Mel, and what's coming up in these episodes. All the guests we've had on Gotta Be Done, we try and whip through some standard questions to really, I guess, get a sense of what Bluey means to you. And yeah, the first one we asked, we might have to put a disclaimer on it. Favourite character apart from Chilli?
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. You know what? It's a tie. It's Bluey and Bingo together. I can't choose. They're my faves.
True, Mum. Great work.
Yeah.
What's your favourite episode?
I think it's Sleepy Time. I just think you just can't go past it. It's brilliant.
What about favourite quote? Have you got a line that you just go back to over and over again?
When I was recording that last section that's come out already, when we were doing Hammer Barn and this is what happens when God, I can't even remember on my mind, but someone's husband gets it. That line, we were also tossing up someone's husband dies, someone's husband breaks. Like, it was so much fun. I was fighting for someone's husband dies. I don't think the ABC and BBC were keen.
No, probably not a great little kids.
But hilarious. So reading the script, I love when I would always, get the scripts through and read them before I'd gone through a session, and I was cackling with Hammerbarn. It was just such a wonderful episode, and also the moment where she just had the talk about things don't grow on trees, things aren't just for free, and then they go and there's the paint swatches, and they're like, "Are these all free?" And she's like, "Yeah, they're free."
Yes, they're free.
Isn't it nice having everything? Yes, it is.
Just try not to get used to it, okay?
Oh, is that lady who said we can't have everything we want? Don't listen to her, Rhonda.
My fave.
The last 2 visits we've had to Bunnings here in Melbourne, the first one, my 3-year-old ran out with his paint swatches crying, "I want a husband!" and the second one, we actually were buying some paint, and he approached the wall of paint chips, and he just looked at me and said, "It's everything I want." And I was like, I don't know whether to ban you from the iPad or to be really proud right now.
Oh, that is perfect. I love that so much.
So there's a lot of for real life moments, I guess, that come out of Bluey. But what's yours?
That's happened. Oh, I don't know if there's any of mine particular. I have a friend and her daughter. They were having a barbecue. Stood up in a chair and screamed, "Is anyone going to mention the salads?" Which I really, really loved.
Bingo has done so much for salad appreciation in this country. It's great.
So wonderful. I just love hearing people just randomly around use Bluey vernacular. It's wonderful hearing lines. I was on a randomly around use Bluey vernacular. It's wonderful hearing lines. I was in the grocery store, and these 2 little girls were asking their mum, for real life, "Can we get that chocolate?" And I was very proud.
Oh, too good. Let's throw back. What was your favourite kids TV show as a child as opposed to now?
Oh, that's a really good question. There was a few that I loved. I really loved Around the Twist. That one really stuck with me. What else?
That song is going to be an earworm for me now for the rest of the day.
Oh no, me too. So dangerous. There was a lot of. I'm trying to think. There was Trapdoor.
Oh yeah, that was great.
So great. Really kind of like messed me up, but I liked it at the same time. Terrifying, but sort of weirdly satisfying.
It's strange, slavery and clanimation. It's probably wouldn't.
So
diving
messed
it now would
up.
be disconcerting.
Had a great theme song though. Just
it really did.
Nailed it.
It was a classic. Some of these are a bit older. I remember watching Spellbinders, which was a Jonathan Shift show, and then I ended up working with Jonathan. I did Bureau of Magical Things.
Yeah,
it was wonderful. I got to play an elf, and I got to play the villain. It's the first and only time I've ever got to play a bad guy, which was really fun.
You should be able to do that again, Mel. I mean, I don't know.
I really should.
Not on Bluey. It would break
great villain.
But back to kids' TV shows. There's a lot of quality ABC.
Yeah, bless the ABC.
My mum was like, we weren't huge TV people. She kind of, I think there was a couple of years, she kind of put it in the cupboard. And I think it made us all more creative.
That's a good Bob Bilby type point.
Mel, what do you need to see in season 3 and why? I mean, you're very creative. Maybe you're suggesting storylines to Mr. Brum, or?
Oh, look, I think Joe's a genius. Really, like genuinely, he's been able to capture something about a period of time in children's lives where they're so plastic and malleable in the way they're learning, and they're so funny at that age. I think he really has this sort of like, I don't know, in vitro tap into that, you know, sort of special time. But there was one point I'd brought something up about some of my family dynamics, and he was like, that thing, can you tell me about that? And I was like, I don't know if you want to go into that. And he's like, no, this is going to be great. I'm going to use that for an episode. So we'll see if the thing I'm not saying, because I don't know if it's made into an episode, makes it in.
Can you give us a hint? Can you give us a tiny clue?
It was about the way my family communicated together as a big group of people. How do you get like multiple children who are all about 2 years apart to like function in a house together? It's a lot.
That sounds very rich for the story mining. Fantastic. Yeah. And finally, we see so many pop culture references in Bluey. Mel, obviously you're very much in that world. Is there something you'd love to see referenced in an episode, and why?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. I do love when I love the bin chicken stuff. I love anything that's like quintessentially Australian, that when kids in America start saying it, people are going to think they're crazy. And I'm so excited at the idea that these American children are going to start having these, it's already happening from what I've heard, Australianisms, like little American kids calling each other mate, and sport, having little tinges of Australian accents. I'm hearing all of this happening, and it's time. The reverse is happening. We've had that American thing happening forever, infiltrating us, and we're about to, on a huge level, infiltrate them. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
So anything along the bin chicken lines, I'm there.
Yeah, perfect. One thing I think is on our list that we'd love to see pop up is almost a musical episode, and we know Dave's good for it. Can you sing, Mel?
Everyone can sing.
That sounds like something Kate would say.
Guys, that's genius. I am keen. Start pushing it. I'm so up for a musical app. This is
if we say it's happening, it's going to happen, surely.
We're just going to keep saying it until it happens.
Just being able to confirm that Bluey the musical is going to happen. This is great.
You heard it here first.
You've brought us so much happiness today, Melanie Zanetti. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me.
Brilliant having you on Gotta Be Done, and can't wait to be finding out with you what's happening in those next episodes.
Me too.
And if you want to get more Gotta Be Done wherever you are, you can find us on all the socials. It's at BlueyPod on Facebook, at BlueyPod on Instagram, at Bluey Podcast on Twitter, and email us at blueypod@gmail.com. Mel, do you want to give the folks at home your handles as to where they can find you?
I'm mainly just on Instagram. You can just find me at Melanie Zanetti. And there'll be a few around, so it's the one with the little blue tick if you get confused.
And I can heartily endorse my Instagram. It's beautiful. It's got lots of poetry, beautiful photography. You're clearly an exceptionally creative person. So thank you so much for sharing some of that creativity with us here today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, guys. It's been a joy.
Thank you. And we'll talk to you guys so soon. But in the meantime, it's got to be done. Bye.
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 Hey, we got away.